President Akpabio is in the news again, this time for electoral fraud. A professor of soil science, Peter Ogban, from the University of Calabar, Cross River State, has now been, who has been sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for electoral fraud and crimes committed in 2019 elections in favor of Godswill Akpabio, who was then contesting to go back to the Senate after he defected from the PDP into the APC for the Akwa Ibom Northwest District. The Court of Appeal sitting in Calabar has now upheld the decision of the High Court, and the professor will now proceed on going on a 3 years prison term. However, there have been several drama going on social media with a lot of misinformation and manipulation of fact, but the truth is the truth. INEC personally, INEC as an institution, prosecuted Professor Peter Ogban, who they say that miraculously, nicodemously, fraudulently and criminally tried to introduce votes to in favor of Akpabio for the 2019 election, which Akpabio inevitably lost. I'll read Premium Times account of this particular story. It says the Court of Appeal, apart from affirming Mr. Ogban's the Court of Appeal in Calabar on Wednesday upheld the conviction of Peter Ogban, a professor jailed in 2021 for rigging a senatorial election for Godswill Akpabio, a senator from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Akpabio, a member of the ruling All Progressives Congress, is the president of the Nigerian Senate. The rigging happened in an election he lost before he contested again in 2023, won the election and was elected the Senate president. Mr. Ogban, a professor of soil science at the University of Calabar and a returning officer in the 2019 general elections in Akwa Ibom Northwest District, was jailed for 3 years by a state high court in Uyo for announcing fake election results in 2 local government areas, Orukanam and Etim Ekpo, in Mr. Akpabio's favor. Mr. Akpabio was seeking a return to the Senate after he defected from the PDP. The PDP candidate Chris Ekpeyong, a former deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State, defeated Mr. Akpabio in that election, which was gripped by pockets of violence. INEC prosecuted Mr. Agman in the landmark case. Before his sentencing, the professor pleaded for mercy from the judge Augustine Odoko. Justice Odoko, who described the case as novel, told the lecturer that there was not much he could do other than let the law take its course. He said the prosecution was able to prove his case against Mr. Ogban beyond any reasonable doubt. Another professor, Ignatius Uduk, was recently jailed by the State High Court in Uyo for electoral fraud. Mr. Uduk, a professor of human kinetics in the Department of Physical and Health Education, University of Uyo, was jailed for 3 years. Right? So the case is that Mr. Akpabio, of course, after he left as governor, he wanted to go, he became a senator for his people, and then he defected from the PDP and joined the APC. So before that election, he wanted to contest to go back to the Senate in 2019, and the PDP candidate then was Chris Ekpeyong. So that election already had a lot of irregularities and manipulation. So the current professor that is now being sent to jail helped to, in 2 local governments, did not just falsify results, also publicize and announced fake results to aid in Akpabio's supposed victory. But of course, all of that, INEC faulted it and removed it. Of course, you also know that currently Akpabio's presence at the Senate, at the moment, the 10th Senate, and of course his eventual manipulation to get him into Senate presidency has some cause that needs, because the placeholder and all of the things, theatrics anyway. My worry is that I thought we wanted a good country, and so when news like this come up, there are certain set of people that now sit somewhere and they defend it. I thought we wanted a good country. Sometimes I look at this case, and when people come to say you are biased, and I wonder what you want. I didn't particularly take this news serious. I saw it since morning, I just left it. But going on X now and seeing that APC guys are trying to manipulate and change narrative, I said, can't we for one? Okay, like I said in 2023 elections, even if your candidate won, it's okay to acknowledge that, oh, this election wasn't free and fair. There were several things. Alhaji Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, in winning the 2007 elections against Atiku Abubakar, agreed with his mouth as president that this election that brought him to office was marred with irregularities. It's not the best that we could have produced. He agreed. But currently, the present group of APC people will defend anything. I was just telling a couple of friends some days ago why I worry that we will never get redemption. In 2022, you should remember that Boris Johnson was removed as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Of course, many scandals, including the party gate, you can go read all that up and all of that. Sometime in 2023, he finally resigned as even MP. And then I asked, because Boris Johnson led an 80s majority, like for over 30 years, he led a majority in the House that has not been available in the United Kingdom, in the British Parliament for over 30 years. Yet, when it was time to criticize what he did, especially in the party gate, everybody unanimously agreed. Even those in his party, those that believe in the ideology of his party, said, no, this thing you have done is wrong. But in Nigeria, everything the APC does is right to an APC person. Why are you trying to manipulate facts and figures in this right now? Can't we agree? Of course, I don't know. I would have thought that there should be even stiffer punishment. Why was he trying to manipulate? Now, the INEC went to prosecute him and remove the beneficiary of that particular favor. This should call for sanitization. That's why I said our judicial system, electoral act, and all of the things needs reformation. A beneficiary of electoral fraud should get the same punishment as a person that perpetrated it. Akpabio should be made not to contest for the election. Should become unelectorable, as it were. But he's Senate President, basically. So these are the challenges we have. And then when we talk, and this is my Akpabio now, they open mouth, they talk, there's no election now since you left governorship that you have won and won comfortably. You see, do manipulation after being governor for 8 years, commissioner for 4 years before or 5 years before that time. So do you have the moral right? How can we even see somebody like this and make the person Senate President? Imagine who is Senate President. Only you, corruption cases. Only you, fraud cases. Only you, electoral fraud and crimes issues. Only you, carrying all forms of baggages. And we expect the country to find sanity, redemption, and salvation with people like that in power. No, we tell ourselves the truth when we see truth sometimes. Not be everything be politics. Sometimes just agree, say, this was wrong. Professor, no, you go rest. All of una wey dey defend this woman, so all of una go dey go prison, go dey rest. It may not be Nigerian judiciary, but very soon we will get to that point where all of una go voluntarily open gate now go dey enter, because this country must move forward, whether you like it or not.